Hi, this is Professor Nabozny, and this video is going to show you how to visualize what subnets look like using something called the box method. So first, we're going to start with a box. So we've got a big square, and inside our square, we're going to start with 0, and we're going to go up to 255. So these represent the addresses for our subnet. So for example, like if we were using 192.168.1.0 as our network number, then the IP addresses in this subnet, in this box, could go anywhere from 192.168.1.0 all the way up through 192.168.1.255. And that gives us a total of 256 addresses. Again, remember, because we're starting with 0, and 0 is a valid IP address, that we end up with 256, not 255, because we got 0 inclusive. So 0 to 255 is 256 addresses. So if we cut this network in half, now we've got 128 addresses in each side. And we're going to change this. So this becomes 128 to 255 is one subnet, and 0 through 127 becomes the second subnet. Actually, this would be the first subnet, and this would be the second subnet. So now we've got two subnets with 128 addresses each. We can still divide this in half again. So now if we cut this in half this way, now we can go from 0 to 63 and 64 to 127. And we can go from 128 to 191 and 192 to 255. So now, instead of having two subnets with 128 addresses each, we've now gone to 4 subnets with 64 addresses each. Each one is an equal size, and again, in this one, they would go from 0 to 63. So our first subnet would go from 192.168.1.0 to 1.63. And then the next subnet would go from 192.168.1.64 through 192.168.1.127, and so on. 1.128 through 1.191, 1.192 through 1.255. So those would be our different subnets. We can still cut this in half again, so we can make each one of these subnets even smaller. So we can go here like this. And so now we can go from 0 to 31, 32 to 63, 64 to 95, 96 to 127. So each one of these subnets, now we're going to have 8 subnets of 32 addresses each. And each time we divide it, as long as we come back to, so for example, we've got 32 times 8, 8 times 2 is 16, 8 times 3 is 24, 2, 5, so that gives us 256 addresses. So we still have a total of 256 addresses. It's just that each subnet, each smaller network inside the main network is just smaller. So we can go from 128 to 159, 160 to 191, 192 to 223, and then 224 to 255. So each one of these subnets has 32 addresses each, and we cut it down into 8 subnets. So it's similar to the circle method or the pizza method that I showed in the PowerPoint presentation, just a different way to think about it.